At Tomorrow Today, our leadership development programs are built on three key principles. These principles guide the development that we do. Obviously, every program we develop is different and customized for each of our clients, but these three principles are very much in the back of our minds at all times. The first principle is that leadership always happens within a context. Leadership cannot be isolated and studied as a thing on its own. The context is absolutely vital. And there are at least three contexts that are important for every leader. And we would ensure that all three of these contexts are definitely dealt with on any leadership development program. The first context, of course, is the leader himself or the leader herself. We lead out of who we are. Knowing who we are and knowing who others are is absolutely vital. We cannot do a leadership development program without in some way creating a context of the person themselves. The second context is the company and the organization in which that leader finds themselves. All of our leadership development programs are rooted in the business. What we like to do is to make sure that the people coming on the program have some kind of project that they work with, which takes the skills that they are learning through the various modules of the program and take them immediately back into the business. Those projects are typically issues that the individual identifies. There might be opportunities that could emerge, and we support and encourage the participants on all leadership development programs to find a project, take it into the business, and over the 6 to 9 months of a typical leadership program, they spend time working on that project, eventually presenting it to the appropriate part of the business, and seeing immediate business benefit to what they're doing. Leadership development programs which are purely academic and purely theoretical in our minds are deficient in not providing the context of the business as it stands. But the third level of context is the future. You see, we do live in a time, and we're absolutely convinced that the emerging world of work, the future issues that we are going to deal with, are different from the issues that we're dealing now. And we need to help leaders and equip leaders to be able to connect with the future of their business. So we have a heavy emphasis in any leadership development program we put together on the new world of work, on the way things are going to happen, and to get people to think about the future and think about the threats and opportunities for their businesses. So principle number one is about the context. Leadership happens within a context, and we need to ensure that the various contexts of leadership are taken into account in the design and the delivery of our programs. The second key principle is that content and method cannot be disconnected. Too many programs that we've seen have content that is delivered, but delivered in ways that are disconnected from the message that content is bringing across. So if you're doing content, for instance, on the digital future, on social media or on mobile strategies, to simply get people into a classroom and do a lecture style for them, it seems completely inappropriate. We need to help people to dive into the mobile world, dive into the social media world and understand it, possibly even delivering the content through a video presentation or getting people to engage in collaboration, conversation and community online, so that they not only understand what they need to know, but they also experience it and feel it. The same is true when we're talking, for example, about innovation or change. If we simply do these in a classroom setting without any risk, without in any way pushing people, what are people learning? They may be learning theories and frameworks, and those are important, but they are not really embedding it deep inside. So for example, to help some of our South African clients really understand what it means to connect with emerging market customers, to connect with rural and poorer potential customers. We've taken the leaders of large organizations, we've taken them out into very poor areas, into townships, given them a limited amount of money and a set of instructions about what they need to experience, and then literally just dropped them off and left them and wait to see what happens. Eventually they decode the instructions to find the conclusion is a taxi journey that they have to negotiate to a particular location in the city. And sure, there is an element of risk in this. There is an element in which maybe people will have a bad experience or won't experience what we had planned. There is even in some cases an element of danger, and of course we do what we can to package these experiences in ways which are key to learning rather than just freaking people out. But having said that, even people who have experienced something completely off the reservation, who have gone completely against plan or misunderstood instructions, the learnings are profound. We have never had anybody who's walked away from the experiences that we are able to create in any way upset by what they learnt from those experiences. How can you learn innovation? How can you learn change? How can you learn what it is to lead in turbulent times if you don't put yourself in an uncomfortable, unexpected, and unnerving sometimes environment? We've got to not only teach the skills but experience them. We've got to not only learn the skills but we've also got to live them. And so in our leadership development programs, we very much like to look for sometimes experimental activities. Of course, we will always get these approved by our clients, but we push our clients quite hard to try things that haven't been tried before within their businesses, to do things which do stretch the participants, not just mentally, but emotionally and in a variety of other ways. And in that way, we get resilience, we get insight, we get innovation, and we get emotional connection. And that, in our opinion, makes for a great leadership development program and not something dry, boring, academic, and easily forgotten. The third principle of our leadership development programs is that we believe the impact of these programs needs to be immediately visible within the organization. This means, of course, like any other leadership development program provider, we would have a number of processes in order to evaluate what people are doing. But we not just meaning the ratings at the end of every day's activity where people rate whether they liked the day and whether they think they will have learned something. I mean, those may or may not be valuable feedbacks. But what is really important in connecting the people into the business for immediate impact, we believe, is that we actually connect the people who are on the course with the people in the departments that they work for and that they work with. So what we make sure that we do is we ensure that all of the managers of the participants know what's happening on the training program, are given information about what the people will be learning, and then are assisted to provide helpful questions and interactions. And in essence, we're talking here about mentoring. We have mentoring experts on our team who help us develop the program so that the mentoring aspect is built in right from the beginning. Sure, maybe external coaches might be helpful and might be something that is included in the program itself, but the internal, almost informal mentoring process is absolutely vital. Imagine you're the manager of somebody who's on one of our programs. They come off of the program, they've spent maybe a 3-day module learning about a particular aspect of the business, and they come back to the office. Maybe they're brimming full of ideas, their mind tricking over with all sorts of thoughts about how they can come and impact the business. You can squash that in an instant you make a remark or you indicate that you are not supporting their learning, or that it's time for them to just get back to work and catch up because they've already been 3 days out of the office. I cannot tell you how many times we've seen clients mess up masses of investments in their programs because it is not connected back into the business. So what we do is we help those managers by giving them 2 or 3 key questions that they can ask the person. In essence, at one level, it's a little bit paint by numbers. The good managers in your business will use the inputs we give them and adapt it to their own personal style. But we believe every manager can be supported to really get the most out of the people who are coming back from a module of one of our leadership development programs. We provide a system. It's a social media type platform in which people can collaborate with each other on an ongoing basis, where people can help deal with issues that arise over the 6 to 9 months of any given program, and that their managers and colleagues can also be involved in. And to make sure that the learning isn't just restricted to the 20 odd people in a classroom, but that learning flows very quickly throughout the organization. We want to put in place measurements that will help us to measure that impact and systems that will help us to leverage that impact. Again, this will look different in different clients because different programs look different, different clients are set up in different ways. But that principle is absolutely vital. So if that's useful, we have those 3 principles underlying all of the design work that we do on any of our customized leadership development programs. We believe that these 3 principles do set us apart from other leadership development program providers, and we hope that you will choose Tomorrow Today as your partner for developing your leaders for a successful future.